remorse and elevate ourselves above as separate from our environment, then we become a cancer on the earth, you know. So everybody, everything is connected, and everything has a piece of creation in it. And I was just reading this week about, in physics, there's quantum physics, there's Einstein's theory of relativity, and they're trying to bring it all together in a unified explanation. And there's this thought now that life and observation of life affects creation.
Yes. That's they've done that in quantum physics. By observing something, you actually affect it. Yeah.
So our life is a part of creation, and we're all connected. I mean, it's all very simple.
I think what I talked to the people outside the community, a couple people over here in the last couple of weeks, and I said, the things I'm teaching, the things we're talking about, resonates with so many people. That's really true. I feel that. I understand what you're saying. They never taught that, and I go back to, I said, all the cultures around the world are exactly the same. There's no difference between South Africa, Indonesia, Northern Europe, the Americas. But where the failure had been is the grandmothers and grandfathers somewhere down the line stopped teaching the stories we're telling. And so you end up years later, generations later, with these very hungry people who are starved for information, starved for the wisdom, starved for the reasons of life, starved for how do you connect back with the spirit world, how do you connect back with nature, how do you stay connected? And there's a starved, the feeling of desire that where the grandparents have let so many people down in so many cultures. And so people talk about the Native American culture. Oh, you guys understand this. You're very religious orientated or very spiritual. We've just been taught that. Thank God our grandparents taught us that. And your grandparents, unfortunately, let you down. And now we'll share this with you because it's not our message. It's the world message. All these cultures, and if you find indigenous cultures around the world that still teach this message, it's no different than our message.
No.
Yeah.
No, there is no patent on knowing. It's all action comes from either love or fear, and love is expansive, and when you realize your place in creation, and you act from a place of love, loving, caring, and sharing, which is a teaching we have from Tisaluk. When you're acting in that manner, you can find harmony and balance. And when you can do that with a community, when you have because where there are two or more gathered, where you have a strength of unified thought, the more people who can participate in that, it can grow. And that's basically why we're here, is to encourage people to realize that we're all related to all my relations, that we're all connected, whether we're a fish or a bird or a rock, and we all have a place, and we all can help each other.
I'd like to bring up one thing. This goes across all cultures. That we are all born, every one of us is born with at least one gift. Some of us have multiple gifts. In the Native community, you'll find, the uncles and grandpas and grandmas looking at the kids. They look at the kids because they want to see their gift. What are you good at? There's a gift of giving. There's a gift of compassion. There's a gift of friendship. You know, Dr. Will had the gift of healing, you know. I have the gift of creating art. I also, you know, do healing medicine. I have all these gifts. But the old people look and say, okay, you have this gift, and then they'll hold you accountable for it. That's something we're held accountable in our community. You have this gift. My sister, bless her heart, Gina, her gift is a gift of compassion and companionship to elders. Elders love her. She just like always loved, everyone loves her. You know, she takes care of all the old people. Now she's old too, but she takes care of all the old people. That's her gift, and that's what she embraces. My brother has another gift, and my sister has another gift. But we're all, every one of you, all the natives, you all have gifts. I guarantee it. And if you're denying your gift, you're not living your life right. And the outside world, outside of our community, is no different. Every person listening, will ever listen to this broadcast, have at least one gift, if not more. And those gifts are for helping other people.
And the gift of giving, the gift of expectation. In our community, expectation is a gift and a responsibility. And giving is how you show your ability, your wealth. The person who is the wealthiest is the one who can give the most.
Yes, it's very
You
different.
know, you look at our country today, we're having difficulty. And thankfully, the government in the United States has done what you look at the stimulus that's going out.
Yeah.
That giving to the community will make the community thrive. Regardless, you watch. That will be good.
Yeah, that's one thing. Our wealth in our tribe, my family was extremely wealthy. And my aunt was saying, well, so-and-so, your grandfather here was very wealthy. We don't know where they got that wealth from. Your uncle was very, very wealthy, very wealthy. But when they had this great wealth, they gave it all away. And our measure of wealth was not how much you could accumulate, but was by how much you could give away. That was a true sign of wealth. The reason you were given all that wealth is because the Creator says, I trust your judgment. Here, I'm going to give this to you. I trust you to distribute it. And so that's why you were given great wealth, not to hold on to it, to saying, oh, I've got all this wealth, I have all this power. No, it's about you were trusted to give that away. So I look at the billionaires today, you know, you got Bill Gates and the whole rest of the crew, multi-billionaires. Why were they given all that money? Why were they given all that wealth? In my world, I'm thinking the only reason you're given all that wealth is because you should be responsible to redistribute it to help the people around you. The Creator trusted your judgment to help other people. And where you go wrong, you say, no, I'm just going to keep it to myself. I'm going to hold it myself. I need more toys. I need more of this. I need more of that.
You know, maybe that's our problem. You know, community comes together. It would be nice if it always came together, but in times of sorrow, in tough times, you know, when I was young, we had a garden, and I used to toil on my hands and knees
With a shovel, man.
all summer long, watching the other children play, and then we would can, and then we used to go glean in the fields, and then give it all away. We'd give it a lot of it away when we didn't know because people didn't have food, and people would come to the house, and my parents, we'd give them food, and I remember when I was little, I was like, why am I doing this? I didn't want to do that. I was like, I hated to just have the fruit guy come. There's a guy who would show up in a truck, and I'd be out riding my bike, and I'd see that guy, and my mom would buy 10 cases of peaches, and I would just hate it because then I would spend all day in a hot kitchen blanching peaches and peeling peaches, and you know, I used to dread the fruit guy. But then in the wintertime, whenever I was hungry, I could go into the pantry and get a quart of peaches, eat the peaches, you know, and then we gave a lot of that away, you know, and that's just the way it was, you know.
So that's the one lesson I'd like to impart. I mean, get something through here that to the Native community listening tonight and to the new people listening tonight, that the one thing we have in common, we're all given these gifts. We're given a gift and that gift will help your life prosper, and you're to use that gift to help other people.
Yeah.
You're supposed to help other people. There's an obligation, an agreement with the Creator that you're going to help other people. And selfishness is not part of the gift.
Well, this last week, we went to Oregon, Abe and I, and we visited a monastery of the fudge monks and got fudge.
Yeah.
And then my sister in Cowlitz, Darlene in Cowlitz, had smelt.
Ooh.
And Richard Caillou wanted some smelt. So, you know, we stopped and saw my sister, and I gave her some fudge, right?
Mm-hmm.
She gave me some smelt. We brought the smelt and we gifted it to the elder who wanted that, you know, and he's gonna share it with his family, and then all that, you know, that fudge, you know, it was when as soon as I got it, I was like, well, who am I gonna give it to? Who am I gonna show up and give it? And then actually, I had a friend drop by, and he had aches and pains. And Ava gave him some essential oils to help his aches and pains, and he was like, well, let me pay you. And I go, well, money is cheap. I said, give me some smoked fish.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't give me money. I don't want your money. You know, I mean, and that, when we do those things, and we're just thinking of others, and it really, you know, for me, the best thing I can do to make myself feel good is to bring somebody their favorite thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, when we got visited by an elder, and I went and I gave him a piece we gave him some halibut, we gave him some crab, you know, all of the traditional foods, because the elders need those. The elders need to be connected to their community to stay with us. Mm-hmm. We need to feed and take care of our elders so that and we need to listen to them. We need to hear their teachings, but we also need to take care of them.
Being a good giver, gift giver, is really, really important among our people. But equally as well is being a good gift receiver. Being able to receive those gifts in thankfulness and saying thank you very much, and it makes giving and receiving a whole event. It makes it valuable.
There's a game. It's a giving game. You know, like it's who's the better person? Who's the better person? And it's like, if somebody gives me something, I want to try to give something a little better back.
That's traditional, though. You're supposed to, when we gifted something, if I gifted Will something, and his acceptance, he'd say, okay, thank you very much, and be a good gift receiver. But he also knows that there's an obligation to give that back to me or somebody else, that and a little bit more.
Pass it on. Yeah. My parents taught me, my mom and dad, and my mom descended from Yakima, and they would buy me shoes for basketball, and my dad would say, do not pay us back.
Yeah.
He said, when you have children, you teach them and you take care of them, and that's how you pay me back for what I did for you.
The one thing I wish for everyone out there, all the people listening, is that remember that we set a very good model for how to live in a very diverse community, with all the peoples in the community, the area here, all the tribes. The one thing, there's some things we didn't have. We never had homelessness. There's no such thing as homelessness. And we didn't have hunger. We didn't have children without a home. And all these things were introduced in the Western world. Homelessness, hunger, unemployment. All these things are introduced. If I have to wish something to go away, to wish something the way it was, to find an avenue to find that again, we should all have a home. I mean, you go back 100 years and I can't imagine a native living in the community didn't have a home.
Well, when I was younger, we had family members stay with us.
Yeah.
But it goes both ways. If my Uncle Chuck came and stayed with us, and before that, and then Hanford, my cousin Hanford, both of them have passed on. He stayed with us, and then we always had a dinner. Whoever was there ate.
Yeah.
And people would show up. And now we're separated.
I don't like that.
I get to sleep.
Yeah.
The kids would stay wherever they were. And the whole community, I mean, I didn't have one parent.
Oh God, everyone told
I couldn't walk down the street or do anything without, it was the whole community, I got bawled out and chewed out by all kinds of people.
Yeah, and if mom and dad found out about that, you're really in trouble too.
But that was it. There wasn't homelessness. You could go into a person's house and stay if you needed, but then you had a responsibility to contribute in community. You don't know, everybody has a responsibility to be to the community. Mm-hmm. To nobody, now we have kids and all they do is play video games. They never go outside. They don't participate. They don't know who their elders are. They don't know anything. They're allowed, because we're back to letting the kids decide what they want to do. I didn't get to decide anything. I was told what I was going to do, when I was going to do it, not by just my parents, but by everybody. I mean, it was a true community, and it still is. There are still pockets of certain families that continue this expectation to participate in community.
I'm not giving up on it. I'm not giving up on it. And I talked to people here before the show and in the community. The things we're sharing today, things Will and I 20 years ago would never be allowed to talk about. We're told that's family business, it doesn't belong outside the community, keep it to yourself. But right now, these things we're sharing, the whole world needs to hear it. We've kept this in trust in our community, and we hope that people can get a different perspective on their life and find value for who they are and find the connection around the world. These are great words of wisdom that we were given, and it's time to share them around the world. It's time. So, but next week, I want to wrap up the show here, but next week, Swilcanum is going to be here. Swilcanum is a Lummi member and my cousin, and he's a phenomenal violinist. And so maybe he'll perform a little bit next week. He's a great storyteller. He's a veteran of the U.S. Army,
Well, before you wrap up, I'll say, and I'll tell you a secret.
Okay, I want to hear a secret.
A secret about me and Jay.
Okay.
You can show up to Jay's house. You can show up to my house, and Ava's house, and you will, if we're here, without any announcement, you can come in, you can get fed, and then you can go out and weed the garden.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's what community is about. Loving, caring, and sharing. And it's still, but people don't do it.
We do it. I love that.
I came today and I dropped off an application from, I told Jay, I said, Jay, you need to run to be on the Shelter Bay board. And I brought the application. He wasn't here. He was in Burlington. And I opened his door. It was open. And I put it here.
Yeah.
And he's filling it out. Because he has a responsibility to his community.
Yeah.
And he can either throw it in the trash
No,
and live with that shame,
I filled it out.
or he can do it.
I filled it out. Yes, I filled it out, and so I'll be officially going for a position on the board for the Shelter Bay to represent, more the tribe and the cross-cultural interests. I don't want to be myopic about it. It takes both cultures to pull this community off. So it's, I've got a business background. I have a background in the tribal community, so I think I'd bring something different to the.
Yeah, we'll find out how good he is.
Well, we'll see. But I wanted to do this. Okay, the reason we're not distanced apart, we've all had both of our shots. Months ago, we're all fortunately resistant to COVID. But before we leave, I want to show you what I see when I look out my window. Let's see if I can unplug this in here. So there is a view of what I see.
Skagit Bay.
That's Whidbey Island.
Whidbey Island.
And I see, when I look out there, I think of all my family members who went back and forth there in the canoes, and all the salmon runs, and all the life out there. And I watch the sun go from, as the season goes on, it's going to go further and further set over to the right more. But that's the same as sea. That's my sea. That's my home. That's my family. That's my history. And I wanted to share that with you. So, until next week, my name, by the way, is Clockadub. My sister will reprimand me for not announcing my name, and Clockadub. And
Your sister?
Kay will reprimand me. I don't want to get reprimanded. But
Hi, Kay. I love you. She's not going to reprimand me.
She's the boss. Kay's the matriarch of the family. Someday I'll have her on here. She's the matriarch of the family. And so,
I love Kay. Kay's awesome.
yeah, she's my best friend in the world. My baby sister.
You're lucky.
So if you would announce your
Okay.
native name.
Talk to.
Okay. Until next week.
Wait.
Wait.